Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. Please welcome to our 6th UKM Women Leadership Webinar organized by Pusat Kepimpinan Wanita Fatimah Hashim, and I am Dr. Mimi. I'll be moderator for this webinar. All right, and the topic for this for today will be education leadership, connecting students, sustainability and women empowerment. And we are so honored today to have Professor Elizabeth Lee. Hi, Professor. Hi.
Hello.
All right. Professor Elizabeth Lee is the Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Sunway Education Group. Yeah, let me read a bit about her background. Professor Elizabeth is the Chief Executive Officer of the Sunway Education Group, Sdg. Having joined Sdg in 1992, she had led its development from just one institution into a dynamic group of 17 institutions, which encompass early childhood education, schools, higher education, as well as world-renowned research, sustainability, and leadership development centers, including the Jeffrey Sachs Center on Sustainable Development and the Center for Planetary Health and 42KL, a peer-based learning coding system. Professor Lee is an educator at heart who immerses herself to students' well-being and is the driving force behind the education group's mission to provide a holistic and inclusive learning environment for all, including SDG's commitment to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. She has a Master of Philosophy in Education from the University of Cambridge and is past president of the Oxford and Cambridge Alumni Society of Malaysia. Her many awards and accolades include 2 honorary doctorates from the University of Nottingham, United Kingdom, and Victoria University, Australia, respectively. Okay. Thank you, Professor Elizabeth. I think, can we continue to the question one? Are you ready?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Mimi. That was always very embarrassing to have to listen to an introduction about myself. But thank you very much for the introduction. Yeah, I must ask my people to shorten it.
All right, it's okay. But I'm sure this time you were sharing more practical tips on leadership. All right. Okay. My first question would be, we can see that you have been leading SEG since 1992. So what are your thoughts on students today versus students of the past and the challenges?
What are the differences? Actually, if I reflect on that question, fundamentally, not many differences, because young people will be young people. They look to their lecturers, they look to their teachers with, suitable respect and also guidance. They look to, to their professors, to their lecturers for guidance, for knowledge, and for help, how to move on to the next stage in their lives. They come to us to learn. So in that sense, there are not much difference between the students of yesteryears and the students today. I find them personally just as adorable, if I can put it that way, because students will be students, as I always say, and when they graduate and they make it big out there, or they don't, or they have problems, they will still come back and they will still see you, or they will visit you, they will bring their children. So in that sense, they are always adorable and so lovely to catch up with. But there are obviously other differences that straight away come to mind, purely because the world has changed, technology has come in. When I first taught, it was in the mid-80s, so that was a long time ago. And obviously in those days, it was, you would use a chalkboard, and then you're just migrating to a whiteboard. And I remember those pens are so expensive, you have to use the chalkboard marker. and they were very expensive. And I would always remark that, they're so expensive, I have to write so much until one year, I think my first year, Valentine's Day, my students came up and presented me with what I thought was a box of chocolates. So I was so excited. I was like, oh, thank you, and I opened this box of chocolates, and inside there were no chocolates. They put all these stapler markers in all different colors, one whole big set inside the box. And so they said that was my Valentine's Day present. So in the sense, when I said that, the students are just as adorable then as they are now. They still do little things like that to surprise you, even today, with the current batch of students. Tapi the other things have changed. Now we don't even use chalkboard. It's unheard of, except in hipster cafe. They'll write on the menu or something like that. And even the whiteboard, it has changed. It's gone into smart boards, and teachers have to be so much smarter in that sense in comparison to the old days, right? We only need to know how to fill up the marker pen with ink. And but now they have to maneuver, they have to learn software to get the smart board working. Students' engagement also, I feel, that have changed their level of engagement. Maybe it is COVID that I notice it more, with the pandemic, that the need to engage with them seems to have been so much more, especially in the last 2 years when things went online. It was not enough to, as I kept telling my colleagues, it's not enough to practice and tape this wonderful lecture and come out and deliver it on tape to the students. It's just not enough. They're switching off, they're not listening, we're not actors, we are not, we're not movie stars, we are not film producers, how good can it be, in comparison? So as such, I said, will you just stop fretting about how you look on screen and how you're presenting, and then going back, oh, I made a mistake there, I have to re-record, and just talk to your students, just, engage them, because that's all they want. And so I have noticed that over the years, especially with the pandemic, that students seem to need that level of engagement so much more in order to keep them interested in the classroom. So that you see in the past, they could be sketching. Now they would be on their handphone, sending text messages, or we're still playing games. So therefore the lecturer and student engagement has to be so much more. Certain things don't change. You should learn the names of your students, and you should call them out, especially the few at the back, to make sure that they stay in tune with you, they are concentrating, they are listening to you, and they understand what you say. So those things don't really change, whether they are online or whether they are in your classroom, or whether it is, they're drawing at the back or they are gaming at the back. So in that sense, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Elizabeth. I think that the way you express the kind of attachment that you have with the student previously and nowadays, not to say different, but it's something very close to your heart. And I think that the challenge faced by the student nowadays, so we can regard as an opportunity for them to learn more and to experience at a very different level nowadays. All right. Can we go to the second question,
Sure.
Prof? All right. Sunway Group is big on sustainability. Now everybody is talking about sustainability. Yeah. Why is it so, and what has Sunway been doing to promote the sustainability agenda? How does leadership factor into the sustainability journey? What do you think, Prof?
Oh, yeah. We are extremely big on sustainability. I have, an open invitation to our UKM colleagues. I'm very proud of what you're doing at UKM, and I hope very much to be able to show you as well, if you would come over. You know, it's an open invitation to all of you to come and visit us on campus, because when you do, you will notice that sustainability, the SDGs, is very much in your face the moment you walk on campus. In fact, if you look deeper, the whole township, the whole Sunway township is all on sustainability. Let me give you some examples. Of course, we have banned things like plastic straws, and what we've done is we have replaced them. Let me just show you. You know, we give our students, and we also sell these kits. And so basically inside it will have all the sustainable utensils that we want students to use, including a brush to brush their straws. My straw is always missing. So chopsticks, fork, spoon, etc. So that, we also have been giving out gifts. Like our staff always get a birthday gift, and what we've given them over the years would be Tupperwares, glasswares that they can reuse. The whole idea is not to throw plastic out, but to be able to reuse the plastic so that it's not single use. So things like plastic bottles are very much gone, and we use a lot of the times whatever glass bottles that we can lay our hands on. We have water dispensing machines all over the campus, because we want students, in a way, not to waste their money buying water. You know, it's not cheap, 1 ringgit. So by putting the dispensers everywhere, then the students are forced to, if they have bought with a plastic bottle, they may reuse that. And that's what we want people to reuse. And the other thing is that they all, you know, have Tupperwares. And the Tupperwares could be metal, they could be glass. Glass is a bit difficult because they break, right? And of course, plastic as well, you know, the reusable ones that are good and that you can keep reusing them. And then in the township itself, you know, you would have heard of the Sunway Lagoon Lake, right? Everyone knows of Sunway Lagoon. We also have the South Key Lake, and which is, you can't see it, it's just behind me, on the other side of the town and of the city. And the South Key Lake is a very interesting lake because we actually recycle the water there. We have millions of tons of water that get channeled in every day. And there's a huge recycling plant there that recycles the water. You know, sometimes I think that we're very kiasu. People are talking about double osmosis. Our people are going triple, you know, just to make sure it's very clean. So especially during the water shortages incidents that do happen, you know, throughout the different times, maybe not the year, but, you know, different times along our lifetime, that happens in Selangor, in Malaysia. If there are water shortages, then we are able to supplement that with our own water, bearing in mind that we do have in the township a medical center. We have shopping, we have hotels. All of them need water very desperately. They need clean water. They need the water to be replenished at all times, and not to talk, and not to mention my own students as well. You know, we have so many students who are staying around the area and on campus. We are talking about thousands of students, and they also need clean water to bathe themselves, or even to make food to eat. And of course, the outlets everywhere. So we have to make sure that we are sustainable for ourselves, at least, if not for you know, the greater community, at least when there are water shortage. The other thing is energy. Energy is also we're very big on energies. And we have solar panels all over our rooftops, including our famous linkways. We have linkways that link up the whole township all over. And on top of the linkways are actually solar cells. But with global warming getting worse and worse, and we notice that our students and our staff and the community are also finding some of these walks to be a little bit hot. My chairman, Tan Sri Jeffrey Chia, is exploring ways to use the solar energy that is being generated from above the link bridges to see how to use that energy to actually power some more ventilation, more maybe air conditioning into the walkways itself to keep it a lot cooler for the people who are walking in those walkways. And the other idea is to also promote, to make it so much more pleasurable so that more people will walk rather than to use their cars and to create more, carbon footprint. So yeah, the Sunway group, Sunway Education Group, the whole Sunway, therefore, is extremely big on sustainability. And we know that it is in a way top down, and yet it is also bottoms up, because while we have the chairman walking the talk, and he literally walks all over, we also have the students and the staff themselves. We have a wonderful committee that was started many years ago, and I always call it the bottom-up committee. They invited me to chair the committee, which I did for a few years, and it's made up of students, it's made up of staff who feel passionate about sustainability. And in this committee, they brought up all these beautiful ideas as to how we can promote sustainable living. And they were the ones who have been championing a lot of the moves on campus that we have adopted, whether it is the last straw, as we call it, that means get rid of the plastic straw, and all the water stations everywhere, very much their idea. And then aside from that, we have infused also sustainability learning and living into the very curriculum that our students are studying. So it doesn't matter whatever it is that they are studying, it's being infused in there via compulsory subjects. And it's great because we also have 2 formal centers championing sustainability. You will have heard of the Jeffrey Sachs Center, which is very big and has been in existence for a while now. And from the Jeffrey Sachs Center, Tan Sri Jeffrey Chia has also now supporting the Sdg Academy, which is Sustainable Development Goals. And from there, a lot of courses are coming out. They are free and short courses, and it is meant for the community, and not just the community of Sunway, but the community at large. In fact, I welcome UKM staff and students to go into the Sdg Academy and take up these courses because they are for free. And the whole idea is to get people more aware of what are the things that they can do to be aware of the fact that our planet is dying. And if we don't take care, there will be really no future that we all want and talk about and educating our students towards. Then the other center, which is brand new, well, not so new now, almost a year now, is headed by Tan Sri Jamila, and that is the Center for Planetary Health. It's the next big thing. It is the big thing now as well, because as we talk about the planet dying, which is real and very scary, then therefore this center goes all out to promote ways in which we can sustain our planet and save our planet and turn the clock around. So these 2 big centers are doing great things. They are right in the heart of Sunway University itself, and making a lot of waves, not just from a research point of view. That they're doing quite a fair bit of that as well, but and with influencing the world at large and also the community. But it's also within the university, actually going into the classrooms, teaching the students, organizing events with the students so that they understand what sustainability is all about, and they all know that it is up to each of us to see what we can do. And the little bit that every one of us can do will add to a very big, a very big, outcome at the end of it all, which can only be for good.
All right. I think that's really great. And I mean, can see that the Sunway Group has done a lot, has done great, especially in a very pragmatic way to promote sustainability and also to achieve a sustainable society. All right. The last question, Prof. In a previous talk, you mentioned on how Sunway started as a construction company and the staff were predominantly male. Yeah. So last year you won the UN Women Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific Women Empowerment Principles, WEP. Congratulations. The Leadership Commitment for Malaysia Award. Can you share with us what you have done to empower women and the role you see women play in the long term at Sunway? Please share first.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Earlier on, I was talking about before everyone came in, and I was talking about the need to support women. It is so easy because supporting women means supporting half of your workforce, half of your population, half of the world, really. And that's how big the agenda is. And it doesn't make sense not to support women, because if you don't support women, that's half your force gone. It doesn't make sense at all if you put it in simple terms like that. So to support women, it's not only natural, but it is a very important agenda.
Yeah.
I always talk about women and men being the yin and yang. It's a balance. And that's why we're made that way. God made us that way, that we balance each other and we come together. And I suppose one of the best things you can do in a nutshell to try to promote that message is to say that, look, men and women both have a role to play. I mean, that's why we were made, and that's why we were created, and that's why we're placed on earth. We are meant to be together. It's natural. The fact that, when you look at the population, it's usually half-half, and sometimes a little bit more women, sometimes a little bit more men. But the idea is it's always a balance. And hence, as you support women, at the same time, you must also support the men in what they do, because it is only when you bring out the best of both the women and the men that you then can have the best of the whole. You understand where I'm coming from? Yeah. So when I go into an organization, obviously it's a construction company, right? And you need men with muscles, and yang boleh tahan the hard work out there in the hot sun, etc. But that doesn't stop us from having more women as the working in the office or working to support, because a construction company is not just bricks and mortar out there. It's not just bricklaying work. You still need to have architects. You still need to have engineers who can very much be women. And it's important because the buildings that you build, they will house women as well. And what are their preferences? People talk about women coming, from Venus, and men coming from Mars, basically to say that we come from different planets because we're very different. There is some truth in it. We are different, and hence we have different tastes, we have different needs. And to have the thinkers behind what you're building to accommodate both the needs of the women and the men it's only natural. Otherwise, you will lose half. You build a building that is very man-friendly, but the women don't think it's nice. The women don't like it. They will influence the other half into saying, no, we're not buying this because I don't like it. I don't want to live there. So So that doesn't, that's not going to help us sell any houses, for example. So the need to have that balance at all times. So coming back to Sunway being a construction company, I think what is wonderful is that my chairman and the senior management at that time, and still now, understand this very intrinsically. They value what the woman can bring to the board table. They value what the women think. They value what the women's ideas are, and they also take into consideration what women like and what women would prefer. And hence, even though it is basically a construction company, you will see that the company in itself is quite well balanced when it comes to employment of males and females. Yeah, across the board. But at the beginning, because it was mostly a very male-dominated company, I know why you asked this question, because it's always been quite a good joke amongst everyone else. When I first joined the group, there were not many women. And of course, when you have a construction-based company, your dress code is very strict, right? If you come to the, if you come into the office, can you make sure that you are dressed properly? You know, and men, can you make sure that you put on a proper shirt and proper pants and shoes? You know, and the same for women. So what do women wear? Oh, women, can you please make sure that you also dress properly in a nice dress, and stockings would be a good idea, you know. And so when I first joined the group and I looked at the male and the female dress codes, okay, skirts, stockings, black or beige color, no can do. So it was awkward. Especially because we are talking about an education institution, bearing in mind that the education institution came later than the rest of the group, right? And so there was no way I was going to tell my teachers that they can only come to work in skirts and dresses with black stockings, can. So then, so as a leader, what do you do? So, and to influence change, I began wearing pants myself, because I wore pants all the time anyway in those days, especially. So what a good pantsuit looks like, that you can be comfortable, you can be very presentable, and look good, and also look appropriate, especially in a classroom setting. And so that changed the whole landscape, from a very simple thing like you know, dress code, to later on influencing other changes for women, such as, of course, much later, it was things like lactation room for the women, where mothers can go and express their milk. And it really is wonderful to have the chairman's daughter herself, Serena Chia, helping to champion some of these women agenda for the staff across the group. And to have her today talking about the construction company that we have. Serena Chia is our managing director for Sunway, Bandar Sunway City Berhad. So it's great to have the lady herself right at the top. Yeah, and she is also now championing it across for us all. So yeah, in that sense, what have we done to empower women? Number one, to ensure that we have enough women on the workforce to balance the men. And then secondly, also to ensure that we have policies in place that will empower the women, to help the women, bearing in mind that, you know, women also have a role as a mother, and as a wife as well, and family, having to take care of family, and how you can help to enable them. So we have policy changes. For example, we just instituted yet another policy, which is called remote learning. Sorry, not remote learning. Remote learning is just students. This is remote working. Not only for women, as I said, that it always has to be balanced, right? So that this has to be something that is for men as well. So remote working policy that men can also subscribe to. And that will be to see whether the work that they do can actually be done from home, and so that they can contribute both as a working mother or a working father, for that matter, as well as see to the family. So some of the policies. So and ensuring that there are policies in place that can support the family and the home, and each person's aspirations and what they would like to do, while retaining the talent. That is the important thing, retaining the talent and not losing them entirely to the home front. Other things that we have in place, infrastructure that we put in, whether it is a lactation room for the women. One of the things that Serena has done is that instead of a crash, last time it's very fashionable to have, in the office, an area for you to bring your children to. So we have policies in place to enable our staff to be able to send their children, because it's not about babysitting, it's about young people learning as well. So policies in place to help young mothers to send their children to an education center, which then takes care of their children and also gets them to learn at the same time. So we have that in place as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. I think that's how you stay relevant, respected, and referred to in SEG. Because from what I know, this year will be the 30th year you're with Sunway group.
Yes, yesterday we just had.
Prof.
Thank you. Yesterday we just had our long service award ceremony for our staff, and it's so nice because we were awarding the 20-year awards and the 30-year awards. And you know what? There were so many women in the group, in the cohort. It was so wonderful. Yeah, with me along 30 years was my own secretary, Anila, and also Puan Norley, who heads up our diploma studies, and then Saiful, one man, and then three women.
I'm sure that's come from your attitude on, especially always try to support more women, try to support women into the
but I have to be careful that I don't alienate the men, and it's not about women getting a free ride. It cannot be. It still has to be about, the best person getting the job. And who is this best person? The best person can be a man or a woman. And it depends on the ability to do that job. And also, obviously, if it's a construction job, I may look to a man rather than a woman. Unless the woman is very muscular and she loves the outdoors, then why not? So it's about the type of work, and it's about the best person to deliver that.
Okay, we have already end our webinar today. So Prof. Dayan, do you have anything to say? You would like to say?
Thank you, Prof. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prof. Dayan, of course.
I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I'm really glad you make time for us this today. And I really would like to bring my team to visit you and learn more. We are currently helping Majlis Bandaraya Subang Jaya to implement their woman-friendly cities.
Wonderful.
And they are also doing lots of sustainable work. And we would like to learn from you, because obviously you've done much more. And to be very inclusive on both gender, and maintaining the merits for each of the tasks given. I think that's really fantastic, and congratulations for your awards. And and we hope to learn more from you, Prof. And as I was mentioning earlier, for those who have been following this webinar, we will do a full transcript and publish the content, because we want more reference local reference book on kepemimpinan and leadership. And we are so proud to have Prof. Elizabeth Lee with us on our 6th session. And we look forward, Prof, to work more and more with your team, yourself and your team. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you
so
very
much.
much. If I may say, have a last words. I am very, very proud of the UKM journey itself. How far you have gone, on your women agenda, and I take my hat off. That's why I wanted so much for you to bring your team, Prof. Dayang, to inspire our ladies as well. And ladies, it's not about fighting. We should never fight with our male counterparts. We should love them and treasure them. And we should see how to influence. And hence my story about, wearing pants to work. Don't fight it, just influence. And then say, hey, that's nice. Yeah, let's add that to the list. So it's basically that.
And I want to tell you, one of your former students, Mr. Wu Yang Ping, is married to a close friend of mine. He was your student. Do you remember him?
Of course, I remember Yang Ping. Yeah.
Yeah. So his wife is a close friend of mine, Shireen, Professor Shirina, who was also, we featured her in one of our earlier webinar on kepemimpinan and kesihatan.
Yes. Oh,
so
Yang
she gave 2 thumbs up for you. Oh yes, he is. Yes, both of them are fantastic.
Yes.
And Yang Ping got good teacher, excellent teacher. So thank you again, Prof. It's been a pleasure having you.
Pleasure to speak to all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. Bye.